You know how we start this thing. Roll call.
Kaya.
Ryan.
Mikey.
Kyle.
And Steven! Welcome back, everybody, to episode 39 of our Mole Master campaign. I went back and did some notes and some reordering of our episodes, and we're actually on part 5 of Mayhem in the Earthspur mines. So, congrats, guys. We're part 5 into this adventure. On our last adventure with our favorite adventuring party of Mole Master, the Odd Jobs, it was time to deal with some consequences. As the party awoke, having bought themselves some time after the somewhat botched infiltration of Thales Karametrio's compound and the death of multiple young nobles in the city of Mulmaster, the party decided to lay low, go visit some friends and family outside of town. And by friends and family, they meant investigate the strange occurrences at the Falling Stone mine from from one of the head of the Hawks, Groshan Lore. Jove accepted a job to recover sensitive material from the Overseer's office in the Falling Stone mines and return it to Groshan Lore for the payment of 1,000 gold pieces. On another hand, to also deliver the letter from the stone dwarf, Boone Ledwakazar, to his estranged brother, Iorn Ledwakazar, king of Ledwakazar dwarven clans, and the original inhabitants of the Falling Stone mine. The party gathered up their supplies, got a sweet set of new winter outfits, took care of some other business around the city before heading from the Zent ghettos out onto the North Road and began heading east towards the Earthspur Mountains and eventually the Glacier of the White Worm. Along the way, they encountered a set of brothers, Val and Dal, who had a number of odd, uncommon, and vaguely useful magical items for the party to peruse and eventually purchase for the low price of 1 gold. Each party member receiving a well-used and worn wooden utensil. The party continued after saying their goodbyes to Val and Dal, who were headed towards Mole Master and the large art gallery beginning there. The art festival, I should say. The party made their final stop at the Fire at the Threshold Inn, the last remaining inn between here and the Bloodstone lands far to the east, outside of kind of the boundaries of Mole Master. The party stayed for the evening, meeting Tila, the proprietor of the establishment, and bunked for the evening, having a number of spruce beers and other liquors supplied to them. The party rested for the evening, Freddy setting up an alarm, which went off later that evening as Val and Dal had used a bit of divining to follow back one of the utensils as part of their con and came to recover these magical items, which is a little bit of a midnight murder. Jove and Rornak were attacked in their slumber, with Jasper and Freddy banging at the door trying to alleviate their party. The fight was brutal, but luckily short, with our party coming out on top, surviving over the brothers after a prolonged fight. After disposing of the bodies and not discovering the two brothers' carts, the party began to set off for their next adventure, the next leg of their journey, heading out into the cold, frigid storm that awaited them the following morning. A large wall of snow and white ice, obscuring vision, dropping the temperature to below freezing as the party climbed and followed Jove, using some maps purchased earlier and his experience traversing different areas across the Moonsea. Jove led the party higher and higher up into the Earthspur Mountains. After a number of hours and mostly successful constitution saving rolls, as the temperature began to drop even further, the party noticed a pair of strange humanoid figures just outside of kind of the bounds of their vision. Uh, Bright, kind of blue eyes staring out back from the cold. The party found a singular bridge, a large, about 20-foot long, hempen and kind of rope bridge, traversing across a large gorge. As the party members began to make their way across, Freddy created, using a Song of Creation, a set of spiked boots. And as Rornak and Jove successfully made their way across, Jasper and Freddy started their trek. As their party members reached halfway through the bridge, a large, thundering, almost roaring sound emanates up from above as the two creatures watching the party traverse the bridge slam against the body, this cliff face of the wall, and in the ensuing strike, cause the snow to begin tumbling down at a ferocious speed, triggering an avalanche. Freddy and Jasper. In this moment, you guys are about halfway across the bridge. Freddy with your snowshoes on, Jasper with your, I believe, just good rolls on this last challenge. You guys have one round to make it from this side of the bridge to the other side. So, would you, I believe, Freddy, you were leading the way, followed by Jasper?
I think it was the other way around.
You tell me.
I'm not mistaken. Freddy, did you imagine it a certain way?
I don't remember.
Then I'm gonna say I was in front.
Then Jasper, go ahead, make me an acrobatics or an athletics check to begin making your way across the rest of the bridge.
Oof. 12 athletics.
12. You begin attempting to run across this bridge, the ice collecting certain points. You're able to hold on and keep your foot. You have made it almost across the bridge, but you're going to call it close. Freddy, could I have you make either an athletics or an acrobatics check? You do so with advantage with your boots.
Okay. Okay. That acrobatic is 22.
22. Yeah, with the boots, you follow behind your sister. You both running across this bridge. As the snow begins to hurtle down across you guys. Freddy, you kind of run into the back of Jasper, slipping through and landing on the other side. Jasper, as the snow begins to crash down behind, about to enter and hit this bridge. Could I have you make me a dexterity saving throw to jump off of the bridge to your party members?
Sure.
Is that both of us or just Jasper?
Just Jasper.
God, Jasper, no. 6.
6. Jasper leaps as her form is covered by a large amount of snow. Jasper, you are currently restrained by this large amount of snow and take 10 points of bludgeoning damage.
Sheesh. Okay.
As the snow begins to rush by and slows down, you can see just a bit of, I'll say, Jove with your passive of 17. You can see a bit of Jasper's kind of armor sticking out at kind of an odd angle. It seems to be upturned and just packed in by this amount of snow. But as you look for your party member, you look upwards towards the source, towards where those two humanoid figures were, and you can see them begin to barrel down at you, using this advantage of this avalanche falling. Can I have you guys begin to roll initiative? let's do. Okie dokie, 11, 6, 20, and 18. Okay. Okay. Seen, heard. Rornak. Okie dokie. So, to set the scene for this one, unfortunately, there's not a map. Um, the three of you have successfully made it across the bridge, avoiding the worst bits of this avalanche. Of course, there's still a bit of snow that has traveled off to the sides. The kind of road itself is about 15 feet wide, 20 or so feet wide in some parts. To your left, if we are looking at it, is this kind of sheer cliff wall where these kind of humanoids have been hanging onto. To your right, after that kind of 15-foot like roaded area, there is a large drop off that appears to head about the better part of 200 feet or so downwards before being lost to kind of the white of the snowstorm. Jasper, you are about 5 or so feet back from your party, currently restrained in the snow, just barely over the edge. Had you rolled a crit fail, you would have gone completely over. But with just the sheer volume of snow, you are at the very kind of edge, currently restrained, packed in by this large mass of descending snow. Away from you can see up the wall, probably the better part of 40 or so feet away, you can see these two large, almost ape-like, humanoid in only the barest sense, white fur, blue eyes, using these large, powerful kind of forearms to almost swing and slide down this mountain, diving almost in and out of the snow that's still left, as if watching a aquatic creature jump in and out of it, both swinging and swimming through kind of this environment as they kind of hurtle down towards you. The growling, howling noises matched only by the wind and the storm itself. And we will start at the top with Rornak.
Oh, 6 is in the top.
I know, disappointing.
Yeah.
If you'd rolled one higher,
Maybe.
a 7 might have done it for you.
Maybe.
Alrighty. How? Okay. How far away then exactly are these like creatures that are swinging and all? Like, are they? You said they were hanging above. So
Yes,
would
they are.
Lornak need to actually head up there if you wanted to get up close to them, or would you need to like?
Since you are first, yes, they are descending down. You would need, since you don't have a climbing speed, I would say you would need a athletics check to kind of traverse up there. And a rather good one currently.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily sound like it makes a whole lot of sense. So, with that, then Rornak will reach into his bag to grab one of his darts, and he will throw it at the one that is descending. That we'll say is like closest to his position.
Okay, we will refer to them as the left Yeti and the right Yeti, since you were second to go on the bridge, with Jove leading the way with his shorter legs. We'll say for you that is the right Yeti.
Okay, throwing the dart at right Yeti, and that is a 23.
A 23, yeah, that'll hit.
Do hit. And that is going to be for 6 piercing damage.
6 piercing damage, you got it.
Gotcha. And then I'm thinking if I want to do a bonus action. I think Rornak will just move up to. He'll draw his spear from there, and he'll move up to and take kind of like a firm stance next to Jove, just to kind of like form a bit of a line up front. And
Absolutely.
yeah, just so he has someone on the side there, and that'll be all for now.
Rornak reaches into his pack, throws out one of the darts. It lands squarely in kind of the upper bicep of one of these creatures that we all know as players as Yetis. As it continues to scramble down this mountain towards you, you can see just kind of a blossom of red against this kind of white and gray stone and snow as it barrels down towards you, funnily enough, being its turn. So, Rornak, you're the first one to attack. So you're the first one to get hit with this ability. Can I have you make me a Constitution saving throw?
Ooh, I sure can. That's a 16.
A 16. Yes, this creature uses the rest of its movement to climb down, getting right up towards you, stopping at the very last moment until you are looking up at this creature. It is large, easily over 9 feet, maybe even closer to 10 feet in size. It stares down at you, these cold, icy blue eyes, and you feel the heat in your whole body begin to chill and sink. You feel kind of this tension, that tightness in the back of your shoulders when it gets too cold, to where you feel like you can't breathe, except it's your whole body, and you fight through this as you peer into this creature's eyes, and you successfully save against its chilling gaze.
Ooh.
You are immune to the chilling gaze for 1 hour, so jot that down.
Beautiful. I will.
And as it kind of howls and roars in your face, waiting for this kind of effect to sink in, you fight through it, and you feel that kind of warmth flood back into your system once again. That's going to be that Yeti's turn. Jove.
Yeah, so since it's like right up in the mix with us right now, Jove is going to kind of smell the blood that has been drawn from the right Yeti, and he'll feel his veins start to tighten in his biceps, get tighter as well, as he will use a bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark on the right one, as he focuses in, and that tunnel vision goes as he starts predator-like to obsess over this right Yeti, and he will take his first strike with the Electrum Spear. That's going to be likely a miss for 12, maybe actually 12.
A 12 just hits. While it is a very big, very muscular creature, Jove. Huge. Compared to you, this might as well be a huge creature. However, what it has in strength of body, it lacks in defense, as your Electrum Spear pierces into this creature.
And he kind of goes low and lunges up. So for that first attack, I'm going to use my Piercer feat to re-roll my piercing damage. Yeah, that's how it works sometimes. So that is going to be for a total of 3, 4. So that's going to be 7 piercing for the first strike. And he is going to quickly draw it back out, reset himself in a powerful position, and throw out, and make another strike with the Electrum Spear.
Absolutely. Rornak, you look over and you see Jove plunge his Electrum Spear in and out of the body of this creature. You break eye contact and look over to Jove, meeting his eyes. And with your passive perception of, I believe, your 11, Rornak, or 12?
It is a 12.
12, perfect. With the 12, you look over to Jove's eyes, and instead of the rounded pupils of a halfling, you see thin, long slits, draconic, almost lizard-like in nature for just a moment. As Jove, as you hyper focus and feel kind of your eyes engorge with that bloodlust. Rornak, you see the hazel eyes flicker and thin out, becoming more like Akila's for the moment. Joe, go ahead and make your second attack.
Yeah, that second one is only going to be a 10.
This time, as you make the strike, this large ape-like creature brushes down a large hand and knocks the electrum spear to the side. You drive it into the snow before pulling it back out.
Then he'll just keep the line fortified with Rornak in front of Jasper, and that will be turn.
Speaking of Jasper, it is your turn. You may use an action to make an athletics check to free yourself from the snow.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and try that. Okay, that's a 23.
A 23. Yeah, you feel kind of your 1 foot hanging out. You can feel the wind rushing against it. It helps you orient yourself as you kick free, shooting out snow in this kind of like reverse dog dig, like you're digging outwards with your back feet until you slide right on out. Your feet hitting just the edge. You can feel like your heels just click over the edge of this kind of gorge. The howling of the winds behind you, but you have successfully freed yourself with your action.
How far away am I from the nearest Yeti?
About 10 or so feet.
Okay.
You can see your brother, and then Freddy's probably about 5 feet from you, and then 15 feet away from the closest Yeti. About 10 feet from him, you see Jove and Rornak face to face with this large, powerful, all white fur covered creature. Large kind of fangs on it. Larger, almost similar to like a tusk at this point, which is how long and feral they are. You can see the huge billows of heat as it breathes out, and you can see kind of this burst of vapors releasing from its mouth.
I think Jasper's gonna use her superior movement to get up behind the Yeti to give her teammates some flanking, if that's possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, you get this large. You will need to climb on the wall since it's about 15 feet wide on this road. And this creature's about 10 feet large. Luckily, you have your slippers of spider walking, so you just whoop, get up on that mountain, no sweat.
Beautiful. I'm never gonna get tired of these boots. Or slippers rather. I'm gonna use my bonus action to second wind and get a little bit of health back.
Go ahead.
Ooh, beautiful. I'm back at max.
Perfect. You kick yourself out of the avalanche kind of hole that you have found yourself in, using your speed and taking some extended breaths of air, not unlike some of the breathing techniques you learned in your brief time at the Karametrius. You feel that oxygenation of the blood, see this kind of creature running the edge of this cliff, feel that adrenaline begin to pick up, and you feel right as rain. You're ready to go.
Snow breathing style. That's it for me.
+1 for a good Demon Slayer reference.
Thank you.
That is going to be the second Yeti's turn, as it is going to run down. What would a Yeti do? They're not the smartest creatures. Okay, attack in numbers. Jove, it is going to run down and use the same tactic that its fellow Yeti used against Rornak. Can I have you make a Constitution saving throw?
Yes, sir. Con save. Ooh, that's a crit fail, but you love being a halfling. We love being a halfling.
That's your fucking
Really
catchphrase.
Truly.
really is my catchphrase. Oh, not much better though. That's 9.
A 9. This thing runs at you, Jove, and you go from focused on the creature in front of you to having your full attention turned. As it barrels down, it slides down the side of this mountain and right in front of you, and without a howl or a growl, it leans in close, and you just feel that cold shoot from its eyes into your own, and you feel your whole body tighten. That is a failure. You are currently paralyzed
Oof.
for 1 minute, and you take 5 points of cold damage as you feel the very blood in your veins chill. At the end of your turn, you may repeat the throw and try to break out of it. But Jove, you are currently paralyzed.
Sounds good.
Freddy, it is your move. As you see this creature, from you only 5 feet away, stop right in front of Job, its hulking body, stretched out wider than his own, as Job physically freezes up in front of him. Freddy, you're muted.
Oh my god, he's dead.
Oh, I was muted in Discord. I thought I just muted my headset. Sorry, I'm working on my laptop right now because my mom's having a dinner at her place. Is there a way for me to make a cube that only hits the 2 Yetis?
How big's the cube?
20 foot. I mean, like, I could place it behind them. It doesn't even have to be a visible point. It's just a 20-foot cube in range.
Since they are...
Is there a way for me to shape a cube that it doesn't hit my allies, but does hit both the Yetis?
Normally, especially with how tightly packed this would be, a no. However, could I have Freddy roll me a charisma check with proficiency, since that's your casting modifier? 25. Luckily for you, these Yetis are large creatures, which means the space above your party's head, 20 feet across, in that empty space where none of your party members are tall enough, could be hit to only hit the Yetis. It would even protect your sister. You see the right angle on it, so yes, you can.
Sweet. Okay. So I'm going to cast a fairy fire.
Oh, okay.
So...
I believe dexterity?
Yeah, dexterity.
All right. Yeti on the right rolls an 11. Yeti on the left rolls a 3.
Wow, yeah, those are both fails. So they are both illuminated.
Give me some flavor.
Visible. Yeah, so Freddy, this whole time he's just kind of been strumming his harp and making the light effect go off because he has that instrument of illusions. And just kind of like in the same manner, he just like plays a note a little bit differently, and it like shoots up a special firework that just like blows up and just like sparkles glitter down and just fall onto the backs and shoulders of the Yetis, and they just kind of just, they're glowing. They are absolutely glowing.
It's this strangely artistic scene of you guys battling in the middle of this snowstorm on the side of a mountain against these ape-like monstrosities. They're bathed in this red light, and then there's a small kind of popping noise and in a shower of glittering gold with slight accents of winter green. In this kind of red light, they shine through kind of the windstorm, marking their visages now, which were once hard to see against the snow and the stone, are now clear, like staring at a candle in a dark room.
Yeah, so everyone will have a attack roll again. Advantage on the attack rolls, as long as you are still able to see it.
Which, yes, they are incredibly well illuminated at this point. So, well done, Freddy. Any movement from you?
And then, yeah, I'll move back a little bit, and then I'll do my bonus action, and I'm going to use my Bardic Inspiration to send a Johnny over to Jove. Say he's got ice in his veins, blood in his eyes, hate in his heart, love in his mind.
Ooh, thank you.
Bardic Inspiration achieved. +1 for good poetry. Back to the top.
On Lil Wayne, good poetry.
And in this instance, yes.
Alright.
You made a Little Wayne reference work in the middle of the Forgotten Realms on the side of a mountain fighting Yetis. I'm going to give it to you. It's a hard needle to thread. Rornak,
Lil Wayne reference work in D&D. Congratulations.
take your +1. That's your one wheezy one. Rornak, it is now your move.
Beautiful. Because since I'm right by Jove, the Yeti that ended up paralyzing him is within melee range. Then, correct?
Yes.
Beautiful. I will take an attack on that, please.
Go for it.
Nat 20. And one more. 2 nat 20s? Are you fucking yes?
Wow.
Wow.
Rory.
Love to see it.
The comet
Oh.
vomits on these Yetis.
How long have you
Holy-
been sitting on that one?
Oh, for so long. Rornak, give me that big boy damage.
I will. So that's the full damage twice plus I roll twice then,
Yes.
right?
So
Okay.
that should be 2 just flat 10s, I believe, because is your dex 18?
No, my dex is at 20.
Dex at 20, so that would mean 11 plus 11 for 22, and then roll 2d6.
Beautiful. And I rolled 10. So that's 32 piercing altogether.
Sheesh.
I will also spend a key point for stunning strike with that one as well. So please do make me a constitution save.
That's a 15.
It does pass, so it is not stunned.
Rornak, how do you strike this creature for 2 crits? And add a stunning strike in. Give me a montage.
Yeah, I mean, like, as soon, because he knows the same trick that just happened here as the first Yeti tried on him. So as soon as he starts to see it kind of taking an effect on Jove, he's already kind of had his eye on him since he kind of started going a little bit dragon there. His focus completely shifts on that one, and it's almost a swirling motion as he takes over the spear and kind of puts it in laterally, and it's just like almost Spartan style, just like down, like holds it up and down and shoves it like almost straight into the thing's neck, and then putting his foot on it on the beast, kind of like wedges it out again, and then shoves it straight down, like almost into the leg, like trying with a stunning strike to like bring it down to its knees, and it's not quite able to like purchase enough, but just kind of clearly catches the Yeti off guard.
Almost like if like you could have stitched the arm and the leg together if this had been a like needle and thread, as you weave through one part of the Yeti's body into another part and then weave back in and out of it again with these 2 heavy spear strikes. A blast of what in this temperature feels like boiling hot blood splatters against Job and Rornak and Freddy as you feel this kind of blood hit you. It feels almost like it's on fire compared to just how cold everything is.
Beautiful. And I do still have a bonus action, so I will take another unarmed strike here as well.
Go for it.
That's not a nat 20 this time. That is a 17.
Advantage.
Oh, true, crit fish. It was one off from a nat 20. Holy
Too
shit.
Roll
funny to
damage.
imagine.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay, with the new D6 now too.
+5.
Yes, that's another 8 bludgeoning damage. So, this time again, as he comes down with the spear and isn't quite able to get it, this time as he puts the foot up to yank the spear out, he gives it just a good old kick straight in the chest, and it just kind of reverberates almost through its sternum.
Yeah, as you drop 40 points of damage in a single round on this this Yeti. Well, damn, Rornak. Anything else from you?
I don't know if I could do anything else after that, honestly. But yes, that is all for Ornan.
Yeah. The Yeti on the right just saw you pull off them radical maneuvers, so you're getting 2 strikes.
That's fair.
First one is a 19.
Does hit.
Second one, ooh, that's a crit fail. Well,
He's not a halfling.
nope. So that would.
Nope.
So, Rornak, you take 6 points of slashing damage and 1 point of cold damage.
Okay.
And then the other Yeti takes 5 points of slashing damage, and no points of cold damage because they are immune. Surprise! All right, that's that.
Surprise,
That's Yeti's turn as one swipe slashes across Rornak's arm. The momentum carrying this Yeti as it slashes the arm of its companion, who's already incredibly hurt, as another kind of sloshing of blood leaves this Yeti on the left. It is then Jove's turn. You are paralyzed, so at the end of your turn, go ahead and make Constitution saving throw.
Gotcha.
Oh, you have the Johnny as well. Don't forget.
Yeah, and does he do anything special for saving
Yeah,
throws?
he always does something special. So for saving throw, if you use it for a saving throw, you gain temporary hit points equal to the number rolled on the basic or on the Bardic Inspiration die +3.
Ooh, I'm gonna go ahead and use that. I think I might be at the threshold, but I just want to be sure. Paralyzed sucks.
And HP never hurts.
Ooh, yes, I got max. So that gives me a 19 for the save, and then so I get 11 temporary HP.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
you break
God.
free of the chilling gaze. Give me some flavor on how this Johnny assists you, Jove.
That's a good question. I feel like since it's kind of like a warm thing, maybe the spectral Johnny kind of like makes his way in between the little opening and Jove's armor, and just kind of starts doing his little spectral, kind of almost like he's on like a mouse wheel, just like around his body, and it just like gives that like little bit of warmth to help him break that internal freeze. And just like as he does that like part of the spectralness of him just kind of stays with like each pass around, so he's got this like inner like fleece vest of spectral Johnny, keeping him a little extra safe as we go forward.
You hear the very small snapping finger guns underneath your armor.
Beautiful.
Nice. Jasper.
She's gonna make an attack on the right Yeti, I believe, is the one she had flanked.
Indeed, it is.
You have advantage regardless of flanking.
Right. Then probably in that case she'll go for the weekend one, if she can do that.
You may.
Alright, let's do that. Nice, let's go for the crit. Okay, no crit. So that's going to be A 24 to hit.
A 24 to hit. Yeah, that'll do.
Um, so that is going to be 14 magical slashing.
How do you want to do this?
I think Jasper is gonna like leap from her kind of like horizontal perch onto like the shoulders of this thing and like bring her axe down like just right into the center of its skull.
Absolutely, and it drives all the way through, landing with a thud as you almost ride from the shoulders down to the head of this creature as it drives down into the snow face first, landing kind of right in front of this one to the left would have been right in front of Jove. Jove, you kind of break free in enough time to look up as this thing, almost like it's going in for the world's most massive headbutt, lands right at your feet with a crack. As you see Jasper pull out her axe.
And she'll just give you a short little nod as she turns on the other one, and she'll probably kind of either skirt around it to give Jove room to attack it, or just like run right back up that wall, whichever is necessary.
Yeah, you move back up to the wall to give Jove some room.
Okay.
It would be the Yeti's turn, but it's dead, so Freddy.
The other Yeti is going to take a firebolt.
Absolutely.
Advantage. Or 14?
14, yeah, that'll hit.
Sweet. No, it's 2d10 for 11 fire.
Yeah, so you scorch the side of this creature with a firebolt. You see that a number of its fur lights up immediately in this bright flare, almost like it was made of wicker for the moment. You can see its eyes widen. It immediately like clutches that area, putting snow up against it, like scooping it up from the ground, immediately trying to focus its full attention on this fire.
And that's my turn. I'll just keep my distance.
Absolutely, Rornak.
Alrighty then. We will go ahead and refocus back on that last remaining Yeti that I had struck the first time.
Go for it.
Okay. It is a 22.
That'll hit.
Yup. And then a 21 on the second.
That'll definitely hit.
2 spear attacks coming in. That is altogether for 15 piercing damage.
Yeah, another 2 vicious spear strikes.
And we will go for one more bonus attack. And is that... That is with advantage too, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
all these attacks are with advantage.
of course. Okay, that is another 21 with advantage, so it will take a kick to the head or another 8 bludgeoning as well.
Another 8 bludgeoning.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see Rornak, as this creature's focusing all of its energy trying to put out the flames on the side of its body, as bits of fur alight in the middle of this storm. Rornak gets into its small the small area underneath its hunched form and drives 2 quick spear strikes, following up with like a third almost like completely perpendicular to the ground kick, like a split kick straight up, and drive it into the jaw of this creature. It's bleeding profusely. Blood drips from many pierce wounds from multiple spear strikes. It's looking very spicy. Any movement from your neck?
No, Rornak will stand and deliver here. Thank you.
All right, it's the Yeti's turn as it's gonna try to. It's gonna try to hit Rornak after that. 2 strikes. One is a 21. One is
Do
an
hit.
8.
Does not hit.
6 points of slashing, 2 points of cold.
Got it.
Then it is Joe's turn.
Yeah, while the Yeti is distracted, Joe's going to use his small form to kind of go in between the legs and get behind it as best he can, and he's going to do 2 strikes, one to the back of the hamstring and then one to the Achilles heel. So first, so that is a first one is only an 11, unfortunately, even with advantage. Rolling hot garbage. And then the second one. There we go. Great fish. Take it. 26.
26 will hit.
Gonna use my piercing feature to re-roll my damage. There we go. Okay, that is going to be 4. So it's 11 piercing. It goes through the Achilles heel.
How do you want to do this?
Ooh, yeah. So he does dodge roll in between the legs. Very I just watched Return of the King, so I'm thinking Sam and Shelob, and going through and just gets right under it and goes for the back of the hamstring, but he's able to sidestep it, and with that leg kind of in a right angle as the Yeti is coiling himself up, Jove is just going to drive the Electrum Spear right into that tendon and kind of do an upward motion to try and just snap that thing out of there. So I imagine the whole leg then kind of spasms as the mini poke holes start to take him, and he starts to feel cold.
And as he kind of leans forward and stumbles away on this kind of many pierced body, the weight of this creature drives it forward, and you see it tumble from off the side of the mountain with kind of a large, long howl, just until it disappears from the side of the mountain, lost to the snowstorm beneath. We're out of initiative.
Can Jove take a quick, just look around to see if there looks like any other ice formations that look like they, are fragile, or we got any more avalanches coming our way?
Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Still, even with a crit fail in there, it's still going to be my passive for 17.
17. It's not the ice that catches your eye, Jove. It is another set of piercing blue eyes, another pair, up the mountain. Now that you know what you are looking for, instead of sheets of ice to give you where you see another pair of these types of creatures beginning to come around from above the mountain peak, heading your way.
Jove is going to immediately grab the attention of the party and just kind of point up without trying to be too loud or anything, and just say, eyes to the sky, everybody. We got company still.
The rest of you, what do you do as Jovis begins pointing out to you, and you can see another set of these icy blue eyes peering down at you from above. These ones are probably a solid 120 so feet away.
I mean, not like we have much choice but to move forward, right? Is there any other way around?
I don't know. Is there?
I swear my headset just doesn't connect to this computer. Jess, but could you chop one of these things' heads off and we can carry it around? It's kind of like a a ward as much as we can get one?
Without even responding, she's gonna go over to one of them and start hacking its head off.
Roll me an attack with advantage.
Sure. Jesus Christ, Jasper. 17.
Yep, 17 will do. And you cleave through the rest, and you get the large, rather heavy head of one of these creatures.
Do they have like horns or anything?
The Yetis. Excellent question about Yetis. Do Yetis have horns? Let's find out. They do indeed.
Okay, then she's gonna tie some rope around one of its horns and kind of have it tied to her backpack but slung over her shoulder so it's like hanging kind of like in front of her by her chest.
Gotcha. I will say, looking around, you can see that the path does continue. It carves along kind of the outside of this mountain, heading along for a ways until it appears to widen out in between what appears to be one set of mountains and another, almost creating what looks like a small valley.
Well, since Jove had studied these maps, does he would know that there's not really any other way, right? This is the direction to go.
On this path, for as far as you've taken it, for the time being, yes. While there are multiple ways to get to the Falling Stone Mines, the path you have taken, to find another one, you would have to backtrack.
Well, folks, there is another way, but we'd have to be backtracking, and at this point, we've already made it this far. So, Jasper, I think you're right. The only way forward is forward.
Yeah, I'll stand in front. You just let me know if I'm veering off course.
You'll do.
All right. At what pace are you guys gonna begin making your way down this path?
Jove has a level of exhaustion, so like especially with all of this like snow and stuff, like even if he wanted to be going fast, like I have a feeling that he would be going like half speed. I don't know how how deep the snow is, but he would be definitely feeling that.
Slow enough to not cause another avalanche.
Go ahead and give me a survival check, Jove.
Am I still getting advantage with the maps?
We'll make it a flat roll since you have exhaustion.
Yeah. That is 15.
15. Jove, you begin guiding Jasper and the rest of your party, moving at a decent pace, not rushing it by any means, but mindful of the eyes watching you from above the mountain. You follow further and further along this path until it begins to widen out into this kind of almost like a valley between these two kind of mountains. It widens out, the road gets wider and wider until there's almost not even a cliffside for you to fall off of. Can I have everybody roll me a Constitution saving throw?
Out of curiosity, it just occurred to me. My ring of water walking doesn't help with snow, does it?
Interesting. Water walking. It's a strange.
Legolas walking on the
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a strange sensation as Jasper doesn't appear to leave any footprints.
Yeah, if I notice that, I think she might hand off the ring to Jove to make his life just a little easier since he's The snow is much harder for him, I imagine, than the rest of us.
Then Jove, go ahead and make this next Constitution saving throw with advantage.
Sweet. Got an 18 for that con save.
18 con,
I got a crit fail for a 3 on the con save.
3,
Oof. It's a 10 for me.
10.
I rolled an 8.
Everyone but Jove take 1 point of exhaustion.
Yeesh.
As Jove leads you for the better part of an hour, going on to Jove with your passive perception of 17, you can see that this 2 pairs of eyes becomes 4 pairs, moving further and further along, trying to get away from the sides of this. You eventually hit what appears to be almost like a bottleneck as the road begins to narrow once again. The cold has crept into your bones at this point as you've been traveling now for hours in this kind of frigid snowstorm. The eyes begin to pick up. Looking around, you can see that there are now half a dozen, maybe more, of these Yeti-like creatures now hanging off the sides of this mountain, beginning to span across. Looking over, you can see another set of piercing blue eyes on the other side of a mountain. You hear kind of this large bellowing noise. Can I have everybody make me a perception check?
Passive drive.
Catchphrase.
21.
Your boy got a 21 as well.
Jasper and Rornak, you see this kind of half dozen group of blue eyes begin to descend upon you, this howling fury as they begin charging down this slope at you. A wall of white fur, heavy breath, howling and screams into the night, matched only by the sound of the winds screaming between this kind of mountain pass. Freddy and Jove, your eyes are fixated on the other side, where you see another set of piercing blue eyes, but instead of the cold, almost dead blue that emanates from these Yetis, this is a piercing, almost an electric blue that cuts straight, almost as if they shine out. And this bellowing noise is not the howl of Yetis, but a horn. As you see what appears to be a dozen or so gray-skinned dwarven individuals come across the other side of a mountain, one riding what appears to be a 6-legged, silvered, reptilian-like creature. Can I have both of you guys roll me either nature or arcana?
I got 8 nature.
8 nature.
Well, there's a nat 20, but I have a disadvantage. Oh, that's still pretty good. 19 nature.
19. Jove, you've never seen this creature. It has strange spikes. You see it must be anywhere between 6 to 8 sets of legs on it. Large enough to be ridden, but if a large creature were to try to saddle it, it would clearly be too much. This kind of almost steaming reptilian creature. Freddy, you recognize this from the blue eyes, the reptilian features, that this is a basilisk. A monstrosity that has the ability to turn other creatures, to petrify other creatures with a glance. And atop it you see a gray-skinned, the color of stone, wrapped in another of what appears to be gray and white armor and clothing, rides atop this basilisk. And you can see in her hand this kind of large, twisted horn of what is clearly a defeated Yeti. As she blows the horn, and her dwarves begin to descend towards the Yetis. As this basilisk makes its appearance, Jove and Freddy, you're clearly aware of this, but Jasper and Rornak, you see these Yetis bounding towards you. You prepare yourself, ready your weapons, and as they get to that like last 40 feet remaining, you then hear the thuds of many heavy footsteps, multiple limbed creatures line up, and you see the almost swarm this other side, the horn bellowing out in kind of this windstorm. And with this kind of arrival of this, for what you guys, this strange reptilian creature being ridden by a dwarf, you can see these yetis. One of them begins to make eye contact, and you can see bits of stone begin to shoot up the leg. It scrambles and begins to try to back away. This basilisk bearing down on it, getting closer and closer. The other yetis begin to scramble as in front of you now is this terrified, completely stone statue of what once was a yeti. As there's this cold moment as the wind howls, the yetis begin screaming off into the night, climbing back up the mountain, trying to get away from this creature as fast as possible. As it turns around, its eyes kind of at the same level as Rornak, like your chest, Jove, the top of your head, Jasper and Freddy, about eye level. Its eyes kind of scan over you, almost lighting up through kind of the darkness. And this gray-stoned woman, dwarven woman, atop says, in this kind of low common, "Lowlanders, what brings you to the mountain?" She's got this kind of like really dark gray, and it's strange because while it is clearly facial hair, it's very, it's almost geometric, almost like a dreaded beard, but in more square-like shapes. It seems almost like pieces of rock hanging off of like her chin rather than actual hair. It almost clicks together as the wind rustles.
Jove is gonna step forward and reply in Dwarvish. Me and my friends here, we have business with King Iron Ludwakazar. Would you be able to introduce us?
Her head kind of turns immediately to you, seemingly caught off guard by your dwarven. As she replies, "What proof do you have for an audience with my father?"
Jove ruffles through his bag and procures Boone's letter and hands it up to her, a seal facing up, and says, "Something of a friend of your brother Boone who brings tidings."
She grabs the letter from your hand, sees the seal unbroken, itself being a unique kind of dwarven symbol, Jove, that you haven't quite seen before. Clearly something personal to the Ludwig-Khazars, and her eyes go wide seeing this. And she barks out a couple of orders to the rest of these equally stony and gray dwarves as they kind of fan out and make kind of a semicircle around you, and she says, "My father would like to see you all. Follow me, and I will take you to where the Ludwig-Khazar reside."
"Thank you for your graciousness," and he'll do a slight bow.
She nods kind of rigidly and pulls like the kind of reins that are seemingly not like harnessed over this creature, but embedded into its very flesh. And it turns around and they begin heading off of the path up towards this kind of mountain, leading you all that way. As you guys kind of ascend up and over this part of the mountain and begin dropping down, the stone dwarves guide you, following this kind of narrow path. The only one taking kind of an alternate narrow, being this basilisk, as it just claws dig into the sides of the mountain, and in some place it almost goes vertical, straight downwards at like a 90-degree angle as they go deeper into this kind of ravine. The howls of the windstorm begin to die out. The temperature begins to rise, at least briefly. And you see there is a low cave that slices through this mountainside. As you enter in, you can see that there's roughly over a dozen or so huddled dwarves inside, many of them nursing injuries. You can see many of them have what appears to be deep bruising and bludgeoning wounds on them. You can see that in some places it looks like their skin has finally taken the full step into embracing the stone. As you can see, limbs and pieces of face and collarbones and necks have now turned into a solid stone, weighing heavily on them. Some of them not even able to lift up an arm any longer, as it is completely made of stone. This awful green crystal, almost imagine like the growing rock candy from Avatar: The Last Airbender. This awful twisted kind of crystal that grows out from them, foreign even across their kind of stony skin. As many of them regard you with kind of a strangely calm look, as they tend to the many different kind of wounded in here. As you follow this dwarven woman past these injured dwarves, you can see near the very back of this cave, there's a black bearded dwarf, the spitting image of Boone Ludwig-Kazar. But while Boone is seemingly completely shaved, all stone, no beard, like hardly any even eyebrows on him, preferring to remove all hair from his battles in the Gladiator. What you assume to be Iorn Ludwig-Kazar has fully embraced this kind of blocky, dark tangle of hair that goes from his beard, from his forearms, from his eyebrows, just covering so much of this dwarf's skin. However, you can see from the waist, there is a large wound. It almost looks like part of his side has been opened up Pac-Man style. And in its place, instead of viscera and innards dripping together, there is a almost catch cradle style bit of webbing of stone and green like crystals. It's almost as if he is fading into the very rock chair that he sits upon. Almost as if he is merging with the stone, and the stone is warping underneath him. As you enter into this dwarf's kind of presence, the female dwarf turns and introduces herself as, in this kind of harsh common, "I'm Lerzona, captain of Ludwig-Kazar, daughter of Iron Ludwig-Kazar, king of our clan." And the king kind of stirs up, gets his elbows underneath him, and pushes this kind of heavy body. You can see bits of the stone kind of rustle and clink together as they almost Pirates of the Caribbean style, like the crew of the of Davy Jones and the Flying Dutchman. Like has to pull parts of himself out of the stone to sit up straight. "Lowlanders, welcome to the last of my kingdom. I hear you have brought me a letter from my brother." And he looks to you, Jove.
Jove will reply and say, Yes, and thank you for welcoming us to your halls. My name is Jove, and these are my companions. We fought with your brother Boone back in the city of Mulemaster, and well, he made it clear that he had something that he wanted to tell you, and we were already heading this way, and I promised that I would deliver that there message for you, for Boone.
Um, the king kind of looks back to you. While he doesn't appear to be the oldest dwarf you've ever seen, Jove, you can see in his eyes countless decades, years of fighting. A crackling of the skin, a premature crackling, not just from the wounds, but from the heaviness. As he opens the letter and reads it, there's a quiet moment as you sit in the audience of this fallen king. He finishes reading, and for a brief moment, you all swear you could see a brief tear well into the eye of Iron. Before he straightens himself even more, pulls what appears to be an ancient-looking sword. Jasper, you specifically kind of see this blade. It is the pommel of it lined with a number of gemstones. Quite frankly, with your time with swords, even just seeing the bits of part of it, you can see the wealth behind this sword. As he uses it to kind of prop himself up and keep himself at a respectable level to speak with you. He speaks out.
Thank you. It has been too long since Boone and I were truly brothers. I only regret that I will not have the strength to reply to him in person.
As he gestures to kind of this awful, twisted, earthen wound in his side.
Forgive me if I'm overstepping my bounds, but Boone mentioned that you and your folk and your kin are bound with some sort of elemental energies. I couldn't help but notice that your warriors looked, well, I saw darkness in their eyes. Have you found something foul within this mountain?
The mountain has been changed for many years since the comet of the falling star took home in our mountain. While it has given us blessings of Grumbar,
And go ahead and everybody roll me a religion check at that name.
6, sorry.
17. Actually, that's with disadvantage, right?
Yes.
Sorry, my bad. That is now a 13.
13.
5.
16.
16. Freddie?
What's up?
Can I have you make a religion check?
Yeah. Is
At
this
disadvantage.
disadvantage?
Indeed.
Would this apply to anything with Mulemaster for my history bonus?
At the mention of
This is my
Grumbar,
history only.
no, not this time.
Disadvantage is a 7.
7. A 13 and a 16. Grumbar is one of the elemental lords of the earth. He is a figure typically worshipped by dwarves, some deep-dwelling gnomes, and other denzians who work in mountains. Typically seen as more of like a neutral deity, the very embodiment of the earth itself.
While Grumbar blessed us, it was Mole Master that pushed us from our home. The iron of our home is too valuable. And after Bood's exile, we fought and fought. But there was always more. More from Mole Master. And the Falling Stone mine was built. We have battled many times, but we could never hold the mine forever. On our last assault to reclaim our home, we discovered something gravely wrong. Something else has taken over the mines. Something far fouler than Mole Master. Something that seeks to consume the power of the Falling Stone. It was this new evil that did this to my people. When we die, we return to the stone in Grumbar. But not like this. It is feeding off my ancestors' guardians. And whatever is left of the miners of Mole Master, at best it enslaves, and at worst it consumes.
My lord, I'm afraid that this foulness is not concentrated only affecting your people. I'm a summer strider with the Emerald Enclave, and we have found other such foul earthen items within mines before. Only a few span back we were in Fort Iron, and that too had succumbed to a sickness. There were folks there that worshipped whatever evil was down there. And all I can say is that whatever is happening, elemental as it may be, is not natural. My friends and I, we do many things, but rooting out this evil is something of our specialty. I do not have a position in which to speak for my allies, but if there is any way that we might be able to rid not only your people of this evil, but of future peoples that would be succumb to this evil, I believe it would be an honor to do so.
The king meets your eyes, looks over to you, Jasper, then over to you, Freddy, then Rornak, and then finally back to you, Jove.
we are not strong enough to aid you in this battle, lest we lose our people entirely. But there is a power, a blessing of Grumbar. Were you to find our clan's guardians, were you to find the guardians Igel, Foidel, and Whirl, and speak their names, they may have the power to help you fight back against this evil. They are buried deep within the mine, and this devourer's goal is to feast upon them. If you get there first, the Guardians will defend the mine. It has been many years since our people stepped foot in the true mine of the falling star. But we could assist you at their general whereabouts.
Any help that you can give as far as getting us to the mine, and even if you have a old map or two laying around, that would be of great help.
Lurzona, fetch them the map.
Give me a second. I have something for you.
Yay.
Indeed. As Lurzona, Iron's daughter, brings to you, it is a crude map. Marked on it, I'll let the map kind of speak for itself. Is a brief kind of overview of the Falling Stone Mine. Pointing out kind of some of the big areas, there is a central foundry that can be accessed through a winch house and a series of carts leading down into the mine. Further down from the foundry, he marks off where the carts congregate, the overseer's office, the chamber of falling stones, where this comet supposedly fell, and their shrine to Grumbar. That Iorn insists will aid you in your quest through Grumbar's blessing. The three kind of stars are the rough area where Foido, Igel, and Whirl are said to be slumbering, absorbing and hibernating in the glow of the chamber of the falling star, or falling stone.
And he said that just uttering their name will awaken them, right? Correct?
Indeed. Jove, you are, you know Dorvish rather well. However, these appear to be deeply rooted Ludwig-Khazar names. While they are clearly dwarven, it'd be like meeting somebody named like Copernicus. Be like, what? That's like technically that's English, but I don't know if I believe that.
Fair enough. Jove will take the map from Lurzona with a nod of thanks and look up back at King Iron and say, "My lord, please let me confer with my companions, ensure that they are ready for such a quest before I give my word, if you do not mind."
You have brought me a great comfort, Lowlander. Jove. Take the time that you need. Rest. We have little supplies. But should you agree to undertake this grand and perilous quest, you would have my thanks. An escort. And upon returning, my sword.
And he kind of unveils this perfectly crafted, beautiful longsword. It almost seems to kind of glow faintly in this kind of dim cave. And as he kind of resheathes it for the moment, he finishes the rest of the sentence from
My sword. And the story of how it fell into my possession.
We will take our leave and have an answer for you at once.
Larzona, the king kind of begins to then slump back into his kind of stone makeshift throne. You can see kind of sweat fall off of his kind of stony body from the exertion. And even though it is warm in here, it is still incredibly cold by any normal people standards. As Larzona and some of the other dwarves begin to attend to their king, you are left with ample time to converse with your party.
Yeah, Jove will spin around and look at the odd jobs and say, "Well, folks, things just simultaneously got a little bit easier and a little bit harder, as these things tend to do." They'll show the map and say, "Sounds like these folks got something like maybe something like that seed of fell earth we found at Fort Iron, corrupting their people. As you can see from the king himself and the other folks around, it's taken them and consuming them. There is some evil that is within the mine currently." The king said, "Essentially, any mole master workers there are either dead or, well, enslaved at this point. The good news there is that there are 3 ancient guardians that are there." And he'll point out the Whirl, Igel, Foido, and says, "If we but utter their name, the king assures us that they will be animated to our aid as we take what we can there. Also, there's a shrine here. I'm not familiar with their god, but he said that his blessings would be upon us should we go and visit upon him. And last but not least," he's going to point to the office and say, "This here is the overseer's office." Kind of with that raised eyebrow and kind of connects eye contact with everybody. We'll definitely want to be. We'll certainly want to be checking that out. And he'll kind of roll up the map and get out the map tube and say, "And because I know that, well, not everybody here enjoys taking out charity cases, the king has offered his sword in payment of rooting out whatever evil is in that falling stone mine."
Whoa, really? Like the one with the fucking gems all over it? He's giving that to us? We do this? Fuck. Yes.
That's what he said, and
Deal.
also the story behind it and how it fell into his possession. Furthermore, said that they don't have the strength and numbers to aid us while we're down there, but would give us safe passage there and, well, an eternal thanks on our way back. And let's just say dwarves have long memories, so getting on their good side's probably not a bad idea for us.
Is this... Go ahead.
This figure that you mentioned, by the way, that is enslaving or consuming. Did he say anything more about them?
Didn't give quite the detail, unfortunately, but made it sound like it was changing the folks there. Whatever it is, it's some nasty stuff. I think we can. Whatever it is, I think it's going to be worse than we saw in Fort Iron, and probably worse than what we saw with that lock and key individual. So we'll definitely have to keep sharp and our wits about us.
Well, I don't know for sure. I just can't shake the feeling of Vanquo with something like that, so be on your guard. We don't know if he is or isn't down there.
How time sensitive is this? Like, we just climbed a fucking mountain in a storm. Are we gonna? Can we get some rest first, or are we just doing this?
King Iron said that his hall is available to us to take a bit of a rest. They're low on provisions, so we might be having to stick to our packs for what we got. Uh, but I agree with you, Jasper. I'm feeling the cold in my bones, and I'd like to at least thaw out a bit before we take our march. So
I mean, we did pack our own provisions just for this case, so. we can
precisely.
manage.
Well, if we're all in agreement, I can give the king our word that we will take on such task. As usual, even though I think I'm the most fluent in Dwarvish, doesn't mean I get to speak for all of us. So, we in agreement?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't come up here for nothing, so.
Yeah, we're in agreement.
I'll go give word, and maybe we can start rolling out our sleeping rolls and get ready for a long night. And Jove will kind of take his leave and go confirm that the odd jobs are on the job.
Yeah, you return to King Iorn, and he greets you and in a low voice asks,
What have you and your companions decided?
My lord, I spoke to my companions, and you can count on us. We're in. We would like to take the night to rest so we can be fresh on this journey.
Your request is granted.
as he kind of devolves into a fit of coughing. Instead of bits of blood, you can hear the slight pinging almost of rock and gem hitting the ground.
And Jove, seeing that he's obviously not feeling well, is going to give a royal bow and skedat.
You return back to your party. You're given kind of an area of this cave to set up your sleeping bags and have your provisions. And if you so choose to, may have your long rest.
Bless.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Jove definitely wants to do that and also take some time just to familiarize himself with that map. I know it's not super like detailed, but wants to be able to kind of have a mental sketch of it so he doesn't have to break it out like every single time if he doesn't need to.
Yeah, you have plenty of time to study that map and kind of think about it, ask some extra questions of the dwarfs kind of around of, what they remember of the mine and its features. You learn. Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check.
Persuasion.
I'll have you roll
Nice.
it. Yeah, just flats. You're still exhausted, but since you speak Dwarvish,
Well, excuse me. That'd be a 15.
a 15. You learn that there is. It's about 500 feet from the winch house down to the foundry. And that there are not one, not two, but three entrances down. into the Falling Stone mines. There is the carts that could be taken and ridden down into the mine. There's the winch house with an elevator that can be used to sink down. It's powered by a river that runs by the mine and down into it. And you learn that there is an area called the West Stairs, which is a old-fashioned long descent down some stairs straight into the bottom of the mines.
And he'll make note of that. Carts, winch, and west stairs.
You finish conversing with the dwarves. It is still cold, but the huddling of bodies in here and the escape from the howling winds of the mountain provides some comfort and relief. It is not as cozy as the fire at the Threshold Inn, but certainly far more comfortable than trying to rough it out in the snow. You guys kind of have the evening to converse amongst yourselves, or if you'd like with you may try striking a conversation with the dwarves if there's anything you'd like to ask them, but they are not a particularly gregarious bunch. Many of them nursing a myriad of different runes, all very similar to the kings. The ones that have any sort of like cutting or large chunks missing all have that same kind of twisted earthen crystal growths consuming their bodies. Some you can see in the later stages, those who are the most hurt are already mostly embedded back into the stone. Large bulbous kind of green crystals erupting in different areas. At one point you see one dwarf kind of loses the rest of an arm from like the bicep downwards, and there's a large thud of crystal hitting stone.
I think Jasper has immediately like de-armored and wrapped herself in her like 3 different cloaks and climbed into her pack, and it's just like burritoed. She's so tired of the cold.
You see Jasper the burrito back up against a stone wall, armor kind of put around like a small shrine of some strange, like a sand womb of dirt dune made out of cloaks, which is Jasper's
Basically.
face in the center of it. The evening continues on. If there's nothing else to be said, you may all take a long rest.
Beautiful.
Jove, as you sleep, you have dreams once again. This time, you are large, huge even. You see hundreds of other large humanoids, some with black onyx skin wreathed in fire, others large, muscular forms as if carved from the very stone itself, and even others taller, more majestic, whose heads seem to even touch the clouds themselves. Electrical storms and small gouts of wind dance in and out of this large cohort, as in this large form you and others stomp your way, march through what appears to be the Moonsea. As you come across a large expanse of water, looking over the Moonsea for miles in every direction, you look up to a terrifying roaring. And as you look above, it's like seeing multiple images all superimposed on each other. You see fire, you see lightning. You see a form of draconic scales and wings, larger, blocking out parts of the sun. A shadow falls upon you. And as you look up, you see the bright eyes of Aquila shifting from that bright blue to that, I believe it is, Aquila is not copper but bronze. Shifting from blue to bronze, to gold to red, to silver to green, to black to white, to brass. You do not see just simply colors, but you see anger, bloodlust. And as this figure careens down from the sky, you are bathed in the fury of a breath. And as you see these other large creatures tear at their own flesh, trying to douse the fire, the ice, the lightning, the storm, you stumble towards this large body of water and look upon your form, and you see your halfling face covered in hundreds of draconic scales, teeth elongated, one eye bronze, one eye blue, slitted just like Aquila's. And as you go to speak, the dream ends. As you wake the following morning,
He wakes with a start for fucking sure. And in fact, since he's been making a point to journal more, he's going to try as best he can, as ephemeral or as dreams are, to try and flow that through him and scratch that down on in his journal.
go ahead and give me we'll make this one a charisma roll.
That's 13.
You get it mostly down. It's hard to describe this kind of fury in the air. It's easy enough, once you kind of have it written down, to place yourself with the giants of your earlier visions. But when you try to describe what terror was brought upon you, you just find that you can't put the words. And so you draw. And you draw. And when you finished, kind of like Evil Dead style, the page itself almost moving from your hand, it's just the eyes. The same eyes that you see in Aquila. And the same eyes that you saw in you.
Oh, spooky.
You finish journaling while the rest of you, after a surprisingly comfortable night of rest, wake up and you all begin to stir and see Jove is just almost violently drawing in his journal. I mean, we're talking he's got his full shoulder into it. One part drawing, it almost looks like he's about ready to grab a spear and chuck it straight into the journal.
Oh, what's got you so bothered right now? I imagine Rory would say as he sees him getting up at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, do you wait till he's finished or while he's still going?
I imagine he would say this, like, as he sees how, like, excessive you're drawing. Like, given that description, he would probably reach out and say that, like, mid-drawing.
At first, like, Jove doesn't respond to you, but as you kind of break him from his trance, he kind of looks over to you and kind of doesn't try and like hide the book or anything, but just like kind of closes the pages a little bit and said, "Oh, I don't know if it's the cold or something, but been having some wild dreams. So I suppose you know a thing or two about that, don't you, Ornak?"
I certainly do. Well, I don't know if this would help you much, but I was actually about to consult with Ilmater this morning, so I could ask something about the drawing if you want.
Jove kind of mulls it over in his head and says,
Sorry, meant to me the dream. I could ask about the dream. You don't have to if you're not comfortable. I simply ask for his vision and a vague guidance when I speak with him. If there's something you want me to check, I'm more than happy to help you out.
"Well, you know how dreams are. They're kind of like trying to catch smoke. I don't know. Have you ever seen yourself in a reflection and it not be you looking back?"
I would say that's part of the whole reason I'm here and in my conundrum, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, I guess I suppose. Well, if you're in the business of asking, maybe for both of our halves, see if harmony is possible. Two spirits, one body.
Hmm.
don't don't listen to me. It was a rough night, probably just the cold getting to me. And you see him kind of clam up a little bit from that, and try and shake his head.
Yeah. Well, if it makes you feel better, Jove, I will meditate on it. I would suggest that whenever you have the time, you do so for yourself as well. I know this isn't necessarily a great time for it, but, well, anyways,
If you ever
I should.
see me smoking this pipe right here, you know I'm meditating. But thanks, Ronak. I
Oh,
appreciate the concern. And he's
you
gonna
know,
kind of like,
I had heard about people taking hallucinogens for something like that. It never quite struck my fancy, but interesting. I never considered it with you.
well, I don't know. Maybe the weakest of stomachs might feel a little bit off of the halfling weed. Some of them hallucinogenics, but I assure you, this keeps your feet on the ground.
Hmm, interesting. You will have to show me this halfling weed sometime. But I should go and meditate quickly before our party gets too gathered together.
Joe will kind of nod his head.
And DM, I did actually, especially with us out here around the Earthspur Mountains and in this weather, Rornak, before everyone like gets ready or like as we're getting ready, really did want to take a moment to just like go outside and just like actually take in the air and just do his meditation routine in a place that feels like home and the first time in forever.
You go out into the windstorm. It's dark out. Um, it's just the cold, the wind, and the serenity that only the mountaintops can bring. As you meditate in the cold, leaving behind your kind of cold weather gear and just letting the ice grip your bare flesh, letting it wash over you, and simply emptying yourself of your own ego for the moment. As you meditate in this refreshing cold, the crispness, the cleanness, the clearness of mind away from the city of Mulmaster with its never-ending sounds and sights, its commodities, its bite. You find that peace that only the mountains can bring. Only the exclusion of civilization. What do you consult with the box?
Well, he'll start right off with Job's question, and he will ask before the box, um, can there be harmony between two spirits in one soul or in one body?
Um, you look into the box and you see that the red twine has snaked itself around the many odd bits and pieces and knuckle bones that are inside of your augury box. And they are all perfectly placed together and surrounded in one kind of loop. And you receive the answer wheel.
Very well. Next question. Is Vonquo inside those mines that we are heading to today?
You look back down. The thread has spun outwards. It is like a small bomb has gone off in your box. As the bones and bits are scattered around. And you see what almost appears to be one of those strange green crystals that are growing off of the dwarves' bodies be in the very center of the box amidst the chaos. Wheel.
Mm-hmm. Last question then. When the time comes to see him, will your hand be there guiding me?
You look back down into the box. And wrapped around your fingers the red twine. Wheel.
Content that this is as much as he will probably receive, Rornak takes a few more minutes to just kind of take in the air again some more before he collects himself and heads back in.
You let the cold air rush past you. Feel that numbness go across your body till you are simply a mind. And as you reach out and take countance of your own internal workings, you stand up and return back. The cold rushing by you. Feeling clean. Awake. Assured. As you return back to your party. The rest of you come to consciousness. Jasper and Freddy waking as Rornak returns, a bit of layer of ice and frost covering his body as he returns from outside with his augury box tightly clutched in hands. Jove mulling over the same page in his journal over and over again.
I feel like Jasper was awake for a while, but she's literally not moved an inch. She's staying in this cloak burrito as long as she can get away with.
The two types of reactions, Jasper and Rory.
And Freddy is asleep until you wake him up to go.
Yeah, seeing Rory come in, she finally summons the willpower to start getting ready to go, and she'll gently kick Freddy awake.
Was that a air quotes gently or gently?
This is gentle for Jasper.
All right.
Go ahead and roll me an unarmed strike.
Make sure you say non-lethal.
Oh, Oh, I already rolled it, so
Ah,
I'm
fuck.
sorry. It's only like an 8 to hit.
8. Yeah,
Just
you
misses.
you kick over at Freddy, and it just shoots the pillow out from underneath you, and your head lands onto the cold stone floor. You don't take any damage, but you are immediately jolted awake from the cold embrace.
Ow.
Good morning.
Why is it so
We have-
cold?
I don't know, cause we're in hell.
Oh, did hell finally freeze over? I got some people that owe me money then.
I was just about to say it. Damn it, he beat me.
He's gonna get up and then remember that he's on the mountain and be like, ah, damn it.
But yeah, Jasper will grumpily get ready for the day, put her armor on, whatnot.
You doff your armor, or don your armor, I should say. Don your armor, Jove. The same.
Donly
Freddy.
now our gay apparel.
Donnie now your gay apparel. Fa la la, fa la la, into the cold.
Yes. So, Jove, you mentioned something about there being several ways into this place.
Yeah, it looks like there is 3 plans of attack, really. There is going to be a winch house that will drop us directly into the foundry, should we choose to go that way. Also looks to be like something like a cart entry that would drop us, if I'm not mistaken, back into the foundry. And then there's also a less known route called the West Stairs. Sounds like it's a bit of a heave down the mountain or into the mine, but it might be a little more incognito rather. And I don't know. I was feeling particularly good about them west stairs, depending on. I know that the Ludwakazars haven't been in the mountain in the mine for very long, so cart and winch there might be some technical failures that, or at least points of failure along our way. Though it's hard to fuck up stairs, especially once they're down in the mountain.
I mean, unless they're fucking ice covered, then there's no good way. But yeah, I agree. The winch house in particular sounds like a pretty big gamble, considering the state it sounds like the mines are in. How about you two? What do you think? No thoughts. Okay. Well, the stairs then,
Yeah.
or is anyone feeling risky and want to go for the carts or some shit?
I guess my. Hmm.
Joe, real quick, roll me an insight.
That's a 2 there, Captain.
2? Yeah, keep going.
And of course, this is what we call a rough map. So once we get there, it might be a little harder to make that. Some decisions might be made for us. Who knows? So the king was saying that this wasn't the most updated of maps.
One thing occurs to me. If whatever this entity is that has taken over the mines, I mean, the stairs are probably what it is aware of as far as interests go. That's the obvious way, and so is the winch. But I don't know how many entities would expect an assault from mine carts. Could be a good surprise option. I don't know.
I could see that. I will say that I am almost positive that whatever is in here is Von Quo himself or something tied to it. If that's the case, we have to imagine he has eyes all over the place. So I do agree that whatever is the least suspected route might be the best.
Um,
That must be
I'm
something.
I'm gonna just give a wild vote for the carts then.
Jasper, go ahead and give me an insight check.
Okay. That is 16 plus 2 for 18.
18. Thinking on it and thinking about the kind of the timetables on this and what you've been asked for by Grosh and Lore, is that you feel very confident that the mine was in full working condition. That this is not going to be like a mine in a state of disrepair.
Okay.
That very recently this is a full going mine. And that the biggest problem here is that the iron mining has stopped. So you're feeling rather confident that all the things should still be in plenty working order. It's not like this has been abandoned for years.
Right. Yeah, she more or less conveys that to the party. So yeah, the carts shouldn't be in risk of breaking out from under us and sending us careening into any chasms or anything like that.
Well, if this Vonquo individual truly is down there and has eyes everywhere, the speed of the cart might be to our advantage. I'm sure once that winch starts working, it'll they'll probably take a few to get down. So, if y'all are feeling the carts, we can do carts.
Can't say I'm all too familiar with carts, but probably our best bet, so I'm down for it.
That's 3 votes. It doesn't matter what you say, Freddy. We're doing it. Let's go.
I already said I don't care.
As Jasper begins, just like head held high, heading towards the entrance of the cave, gets hit with a gust of wind, thinks twice about it.
Yeah. Wait. Weren't we supposed to be guided or something? Why am I going first?
And you see Larzona, a number of the still able-bodied dwarfs, about a half dozen of them, and the basilisk that slept inside the cave with you all the evening before approaches.
I start casting detect magic.
Absolutely. You cast detect magic. Goes out in 30 feet. While your party pings, the dwarves do ping with a sort of like abjuration magic. Their very bodies themselves seem to be infused. And the sword by Iorn radiates with, to your surprise, necromancy.
I don't relay any of that.
You take an internal note of that one.
Yeah, I just let everybody know. I said, all right, my magic goggles are on for the trip ahead.
Larzona asks you, Jove, are you ready?
Ready as we'll ever be, Arizona. Looks like we've chosen the path of the carts, so I appreciate your guidance as we make our way to the mine.
We will take you to the ridge of the mine. Let Grumbar guide you. Hold your body strong beneath the earth. Should you fall, be embraced. For as old as stone. And she mounts
There's like
up
a
the
dwarvish
basilisk.
word for like amen. He'll utter that as like a so say we all.
You say it. Go ahead and roll me a religion check.
No, that's a nat 20.
You are about to answer that. And remember that that is a Muradin prayer. And think better of it. You go to basically say, and as the hammer falls. Kind of like a common, like, and with your spirits. But for Muradin, and then knowing what little you know about Grumbar and noticing around that these are clearly not Muradin worshipping dwarves, just nod and say a word of thanks in Dwarven instead. And Lerzona just continues on, unbothered by your words. You begin to head out back into the cold. It embraces you. Luckily, you're cold to begin with, so it's less jarring than the day before, leaving the fire by the threshold. As you head back into the storm itself, traveling for the better part of 2 hours before following Lerzona on her basilisk. Occasionally, a pair of blue eyes appearing out from the snow, only to be met by an even more piercing set of electric blue eyes for a small bit of howling as you see the eyes dart off into the distance. As Lerzona and her basilisk keeps the Yetis at bay, you travel further and further up and then back down into a wide, low mountain peak. It looks almost as if one point this had been a tall mountain that had been shattered and struck down low. You can see what looks like large pieces of rubble, or actually large pieces of mountain cliffside that have broken from this, as if something with a great impact and force had struck, creating this kind of small crater where a mountain once was. I've got another map for you guys.
Nice.
Yay!
Yes. Let me get that one up. As you see this, as you look across, you can see that an icy blue churning river falls down part of it, down the mountainside. You can see what appears to be the winch house with kind of a water wheel being pushed by the river, a small bridge connecting one side to the other. A small set of stables next to the winch house. You notice the carts and a set of rails leading into one entrance. And with some pointing out from Lerzona from your earlier conversation, up at that top left, above that small building, is the entrance to the west stairs. Peering across while kind of tucked away in here, buffets some of the storm away from this area. You can see that the majority of it appears completely deserted. Not a single thing moves nor stirs as you kind of cast your eyes upon this area. As Lerzona kind of takes the basket in kind of like a wide arc and turns it around and says, "This is where we depart ways. Should you succeed, we will be here to escort you back. Should night fall, and you have not returned, we will not be waiting."
We will return before the sun dips below the mountain. Thank you for safe passage. Lerzona.
And she nods to you once more and pulls back kind of her dwarves as they kind of slink back into the snowstorm, sinking low, letting the snow kind of wash over them, blending further and further in until, had you not known that they have kind of rested and nested in there, they almost just look like snow-covered stones being whipped around by this large windstorm.
Should we make sure none of the missing hawks are in any of these buildings? I mean, it's a low chance, but you never know.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think we're getting paid to be thorough at the very least. So
Yeah, I say we might as well.
All right, let's go check those stables over there on the right side, and then we can kind of comb our way over back towards the mine carts.
You head over to the stables. Go ahead and make me investigation or perception checks. Choice is yours.
as we get closer, Dom, can I use my bonus action to summon Aquila out?
You can indeed.
Aquila will hop into the snow with a zap.
Rory, I'm gonna assist you on whatever roll you care to do.
I chose perception, so I will go again.
Okay.
That is still a passive 12 to go with. Thanks for helping. I rolled a crit fail on the last one, so yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. I
That's
appreciate
okay.
the
I mean,
comment.
my perception wouldn't have been good either. It's fine.
Yeah, you both, as you're looking around, you look down at Aquila in her form, the ice kind of forming and breaking off of her scales, and you look up, and for a moment, you see hazel eyes looking back at you.
And moreover, as you're looking at her, you see that she looks not bigger, but there's almost like the like her scales look thicker, and like at her shoulders and elbows and in more sensitive parts, those scales have started to come up into peaks, kind of like spikes. She looks noticeably tougher, almost like she has like a little suit of armor on her.
She looks more like Jove. There's a strength in the shoulders, in the arms, in the wideness of Aquila now. It's not like she's gotten any taller, just more wide. As her and Jove kind of like make their way over, you can see even their shoulders move in unison.
I got a 25 for that investigation.
Yeah, looking around, Jove. Freddie, what'd you roll?
I rolled a 13 investigation.
Yeah, more focused on the whole Aquila thing in this moment of time. Jove, well, your party kind of looks at this newer form of Aquila. You check kind of the stables. You see that there are a number of wagons filled with iron ingots. A couple hundred gold pieces worth, to say the very least. A shipment ready to be pulled out. However, you can see that there don't appear to be any more livestock here. The stables are empty, even though there seems to be plenty of food around still. You do find, however, with a 25, a small knapsack in one of the carts, and instead of iron ingots, you see four lustrous gemstones, each one worth 50 gold pieces.
There you go. DGP gemstones.
Find four of them.
4 of them. Jove will kind of exit the stables and look at everybody and say, "Well, whatever happened here happened pretty quickly. Carts are loaded up with a shipment. I don't know what happened to the livestock, but it's gone, and there's even some food stores in here. So, like I said, whatever hit hard, and the folks weren't expecting it."
Well, we'll hit harder.
That's the spirit.
You've been feeding Aquila something new. She looks burly.
Oh well, Keela's gotten a taste for all types of flesh during our time together, and hey, you might have noticed that I've been looking a little burlier too. Thanks for noticing. So you see him kind of strike a pose a little bit.
You know, you do look a good bit more fit than we first met.
Well, thank you, Jasper.
Do we want to make sure there's nothing in the winch house?
I think so. I think we should probably case the whole place, right? Maybe we do some sort of a pincer. It looks like there's some stairs on the side of this house, and maybe a front door, just in case there is something in there. We're not all four going through the same spot.
How about Freddy and yourself up top, and then Rory and I down below?
Fine with me.
All right, Fredster, let's do it.
Okay.
Let me have the two pairs make an investigation or perception check.
I'll do the investigation this time, if you don't
I
mind,
will
Rory.
assist.
And
Yeah.
I will assist Jove.
Net 20 for 26.
Noise.
Nice. 14. Oh no, that's a lie. That's my history. 11.
Bottom floor crew, you look around and you see the controls for the winch house, a series of levers. You can see the elevator. It's rather large. You're thinking it could fit easily 30 people or so. It is water wheel driven, and you can see that there is only a single railing that stands between you and the long drop from here all the way down to the foundry floor. It goes for hundreds of feet into near total darkness. My 25 crew, up top, you see that this has a mess, a kitchen, some other just kind of household items. It looks even a bunk room. You can see that there are hastily abandoned like platters of food that is starting to fester, then freeze over in some places. The belongings are still in many of the bunks and the beds, and looking out kind of the windows, you can see that the wheel to the winch house is currently stuck. The ice seems to have frozen over it, so for the time being, you can see until you get some of that ice cleared, the water wheel that powers the winch is currently not active. However, the whole place is empty.
Should I start working on melting the ice? Since that's something that I'm uniquely good at.
Well, I know we were talking about taking the carts through. I don't know. Real quick, Tom, did you say like the river is frozen over, or just like the gears around?
It looks, I'll say with your 25, it looks as if the water winch has stopped, and since it's stopped moving, it is currently frozen in place. The river still moves, but it is no longer moving. Looks like a couple of good chunks of ice have frozen around it. And it needs to get restarted if you want the winch to start moving up and down again.
So I guess the question is, do we want that moving?
Yeah, that is the question. My only worry, Freddie, is that we lose something and then it I don't know, alerts our presence. Looks like whatever in here is not in particular disrepair, a la the food and everything that's out here. But on the other hand, it might be nice to have an elevator out. So I don't know, maybe we should talk to the other folks first before we start making moves.
I think we probably made our way up after we didn't find much.
You find the kind of the winch controls, and you can see they're currently stuck in place. You like pull one, and there's just no reaction. There's just no power. Just nothing. Just chikunk, chikunk. No up, no down. As you come back up to your party.
Looks like we made the right call. The winch doesn't even work.
For now.
What,
You
are you
have a
gonna
way of
fix
fixing
it?
Yeah.
Joe noticed that the main problem is that the wheel that powers the winch is currently frozen over. Because the water's running, but the wheel's just not spinning.
Oh.
So if we can loosen that up, which and he kind of like lights a little firebolt up and then puts it away. I'm uniquely equipped for. Then we might be able to get some power to it.
Alright, you fucking show off.
It's all I have.
It's my one thing. You're taking every front thing from me, sis. God.
What, do you want me to put the ice to sleep? Do you want me to cure the ice with my magic mintiness?
It's just totally ignoring him.
And it goes into full melodramatics.
You know, it might be nice to have it working. It'll be pretty hard for us to make a quick escape and going up the carts or up the stairs, so maybe we should get it going.
So, Freddy, do you begin clearing the ice?
Does anybody have objections? I light fire to the ice.
Give me 3 attack rolls.
With firebolt?
Mm-hmm.
I'd assume so.
Okay. Whoa. It's a 23.
23.
Oh my god. A 22?
22.
Okay. And a 15.
15. You conjure up in quick succession 1, 2, 3 Flamin' Johnnies as they leap from your instruments and from your fingertips to the blockage of ice, and they all 3 land. Boom, boom, boom. Finger guns all on the same point, and there's a as the water, as the ice heats, turns to steam, freezes in some places, and there's a slight moment where the ice moves, but the water winch does not move forward until... And there's the sound of cracking as a large portion of this ice breaks off and the water wheel begins to... It takes a second, but with 3 successful attack rolls, firebolts, you're able to break the ice away, and the water wheel begins to spin again. You can feel almost kind of a hum and a tightening of kind of the change in the winch inside of the house as the water wheel gets turned back on.
I did it.
Well, let's hope we didn't alert anyone to our presence.
Freddy, roll me a performance check.
24.
Jove, even with your shield, you don't notice anything until Freddy comes back in and exclaims that the wheel is working. It's as soon as he says that, and then you feel kind of the tightening of the building. Even Jove, with your high passive perception, you feel pretty confident that the snowstorm and the fact that you're 500 feet above the cave or the mine, feeling real confident.
Good job there, Freddy.
Yeah, don't let him get too big ahead about it.
I mean, he's the only one that could do something like this out of us, though.
Wow.
Right?
The only one.
I have torches. Like this could have been done by literally anyone. But yeah, you did a great job, Freddy. Anyway, I think outside I saw a wagon and a building by the mine carts. I think those are the only two things we need to check.
Telling the magic is like, hey, I got torches. Like, you ain't so cool, by the way.
Don't get too big of a head, all right? Anybody can light a torch, whatever.
I'd go stand on the ice and then just like hold a torch until it melts.
Yeah,
In the middle of a snowstorm.
right, you can see how miserable Jasper would be doing
But too proud to go back on the word once.
that. Right.
It takes the better part of 4 hours.
She'd do it out of spite.
Lights 3 torches during the time. I will say, with that 25 perception from earlier, that wagon is currently full of more ingots. You check it over. We'll say that was part of that kind of checking that the stables first. Check the cart. That's where Joe found the gems out in the open, where anybody could have really taken those. You head over to the final building. Can I get those same rolls again?
Your turn, Rory.
Wow, me?
Yeah.
Your turn, Jove.
And is this investigation we're doing?
Or perception, your choice.
Or perception?
22 Investo.
I rolled the same thing twice. That's
Oh
a
my God.
19 in perception, though.
Oh,
You enter
Good roll.
in. You can see that it's a storehouse holding various mining equipment and supplies. There's barrels of water, a sack of coal for the foundry are stacked outside, and towards the rear of the room, you see a lone storage locker stands conspicuously ajar. Inside, you see scattered food scraps, a half-full plate of water, a mangy fur blanket. Someone has definitely been sleeping here.
You see that cabinet back there? Looks like it's been moved around, and there's even bits and pieces in here showing some obvious signs of life. I mean, obviously the place is running, we found, but somebody has been here, and pretty recent, I'd say.
I concur. Maybe they got away and just didn't know where to go. It's
As
kinda
you
hard
say
to get
that,
off
Jove,
them.
with your passive of 17, you hear behind some of the mining equipment the saw rustle and the sound of a tool hitting the floor.
Joe will turn around real quickly, spear pointed outwards, and say,
Go for it.
"Sorry, what?"
Bless you.
More of a hack and cough. But we'll say, who goes there? What's going on?
From out behind, you see the small figure of a halfling child, 11 years old at the most. Brown hair, brown eyes, thin, cold. Kind of peeks her head out from behind the crates.
Jove will immediately kind of lower himself, definitely lower the spear point, and speak in halfling, something along the lines of, "Child, don't be afraid. I'm one of your kin, halfling folk. Are you okay up here? It's mighty cold. If you're hungry, I got a little something in my pack. I'm happy to share."
She,
Jove
go ahead and make a persuasion check with advantage. since you are halfling and speaking in halfling.
Nice. That's 19.
She slowly and gingerly comes out from behind, kind of crawls through the space of kind of mining equipment, big enough only for a halfling child to kind of make their way through easily, and comes out and stands up and she says, "You're not my dad."
No, I'm sorry, I'm not your dad, but might be able to help you find your dad. Is he around here? Come on, let me get you warm. And he'll take off uh, his outer coat that he has and kind of offer it, gingerly. Doesn't want to spook her, but kind of like has it out there.
She takes it and she looks to you with like these big eyes, just if there were any tears in them, they're probably frozen at this point, and says, "The monsters took my dad. They took everybody down there."
What what's your name, child? I'm Jove.
"I'm Lupe. Barry Pip."
Barry Pip. That's a mighty fine name.
I'm sorry. Your name is Barry Pip.
You just see Jove like whip his head around and just like daggers. And then looks back and says, "Barry Pip, wow, your daddy and mom must have quite a knack for naming real nice names. These monsters, Barry Pip, and I know that it's scary, but we're not monsters. We're friends here. In fact, we're something of monster hunters, as it was. Can you tell me what exactly happened? I know it's going to be hard to recall, but anything you can to help. Maybe we might be able to find your dad down there.
Lupe Barry Pip, first name Lupe, last name Barry Pip,
Gotcha.
begins.
Wait, your last name is Barry.
Indeed, her last name is indeed Barry Pip. The halflings' last names are Barry Pip and Featherfoot.
All right.
That's how it goes. Halflings, what can I say? They're whimsical. She tells a story of these stone-faced monsters coming out from the mine, of tall, gaunt creatures with wings made of stone stitched to their backs, dragging the miners and the soldiers down into the mines. And she points out, and you can see by the tracks being pulled down into it, little bits and pieces of snow-covered stone hands and that same mottled, twisted, green crystal stone, as if broken from being dragged down.
Lupe, you're very brave. Tell us all this. We're going to do our best to go down there and see what we can do to stop those monsters so you're not hurting anybody else. And I'll tell you what, if you stay warm and you stay hidden up here, we've got a plan to leave this place in the evening. I'm sure we'll be able to take you along with. Would you like that, Lupe?
She kind of looks at you, and then a very small voice asks, "Do you think my dad's still alive?"
Joe's throat tightens and his kind of takes a breath and looks deep into her eyes and says, I wish I could tell you, Lupe, whether or not your daddy's alive or not. But I don't want to lie to you. I don't know these things. But what I do know is that me and my friends here, we're going to go down there. And we're going to root out whatever monsters did this harm to you and your kin. And we're going to get you out of here. Is that okay with you, Lupe?
Okay. His name is Umble. He's like me, but hairy.
Humble.
Ombul. Umble
Oh.
Berry Pip.
Humble. Berry Pip.
I'm sorry, just button it. Umbleberry Pip.
You got some cotton in your ears, Freddy?
I just want to make sure that I'm getting all this correctly. I'm just being thorough, you know.
Pulls out his book and everything.
Well, we're gonna do our best to find Humble, your daddy. Strong name like that, I'm sure he's fighting hard as best as he can. Now it's very important that you stay out of sight. You keep warm. It doesn't take long to the ice to even with our hairy feet, doesn't take long between those toes getting cold. We wouldn't want any of that, would we?
And she kind of shakes her head. You see her, she kind of crawls into the locker, pulls everything around her until she's kind of almost lost in this kind of pile of clothing and coats. This tiny, tiny halfling girl.
Right. Don't come out until you hear me say, Lupe, Berry 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 Pip. Is that okay? Now say it back to me.
Lupe. Berry, 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 Pip. Okay.
That's right.
And she takes a little bit of the locker and kind of just closes it gently behind her. Or I guess in front of her, she's looking at you. Eek. And you just hear like a, echoing from inside. Okay.
Mm.
Poor thing.
Oh my
And,
god, that hurts my fucking heart. I read it.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
I need a moment.
It reminds
Let's
me
get-
of the kid from Alien. Is it or Aliens? I don't remember. I think it's Aliens.
Aliens, yes.
Yeah. Oh.
Not a bad
Well-
analogy. I'll give you a +1 for that.
Whew.
Let's get going. Don't want to wait too long, and we have a schedule to keep here.
Music choice most excellent. +1 for the DM. So, you exit out of the storehouse. Lupe bundled up in another coat, with what very little belongings she has in the storage locker. Leaving the young Berry Pip in the storehouse. Do you guys head to the carts?
Yeah. I think on the way over, Jasper nudges Freddy and very quietly under her breath just says, Berry Pip.
It's a name. The name is Berry Pip.
Takes all kinds.
Takes a Berry Pip.
The elevator at the winch house is currently pulled up. It is at the, we'll say, ground level where you guys are at. And as you head towards, I believe, the carts.
Yep.
You head towards kind of the entrance to the minecart tracks. You can see there's a number of parallel tracks that enter the mine from the surface. There's a pair of minecarts parked at the tunnel's mouth. Before it heads inside, you can see there are a number of oil lanterns. Only one remains, barely still left alight. Probably a solid 30 feet in, just barely shedding some dim light from there. As you walk, there's kind of this crunching noise. As you can see, there is a number of what appears to be hands and arms and legs and broken faces, all twisted in this green crystally stone.
So what do we think? We want to go for a ride in the carts?
I mean, it'll definitely get us there faster. Might be some debris on the tracks.
I'd be willing to risk it. And we're not the stealthiest bunch, so going in hard and fast is usually to our advantage.
You are correct on that.
Well then. That was our original plan, was it not?
How often do we stick to our original plan?
To be fair, things usually get tenser when we deviate, right?
That's
I think
true.
we did it once.
That sounds fake.
Hold on, give me a minute.
She starts climbing into a cart.
Donkey Kong Country.
You can. The carts are technically big enough for all four of you guys to fit in, but it will be very, very tight.
We also got Aquila too, so we actually.
With Aquila, no. There's just simply not enough room for all of you guys to be in there. Luckily, many of the carts are in kind of like a two-pair system. Jove, since you count as a small creature, you and Aquila will count as one medium-sized creature. They're kind of attached to each other, so you could have, two and technically three, since it's Jove and Aquila, in an attached cart.
Perfect.
Absolutely. You all board into the carts. They're real simple. They'd have like one singular kind of handbrake on them that slows it down or releases it. You can see that the cart track goes for another about 60 or so feet before it begins to slope downwards and begins to make a wide turn, snaking in on itself as the wheels begin to like going on the Matterhorn. As soon as you go over the lip of this, the last kind of lantern light fading as you are plunged into darkness. You are traveling at a rather decent speed as the carts take you hurtling down into the mountain, twisting and turning. You see there are bits and places where lanterns are still lit up, but large sections that are in almost complete darkness. As you're traveling along, you suddenly feel the tunnels begin to shake. Rock dust seeps from the ceiling, and with the sound like breaking thunder, you see a heavily scaled fin burst from the floor behind you and pave its way out, its mouth large, opening wide, like seeing a shark on, or seeing like a whale on land, opening wide, almost large enough to fit an entire cart in its mouth, as it almost swims across the stones behind you. As it lets out this deep kind of bellowing groan, like hearing a whale, but 50 times below its octave. Just this low, guttural roaring. I need you guys to roll me initiative.
Ooh.
Oh man.
Can we take this moment for a
Company
bio break?
already.
Bio break. As you guys are hurtling down this this cart track, I'll have you guys tell me who's in which cart, who's in the front and who's in the back. This thing is about 40 feet behind you as it kind of crashes up out of the earth. It's strange because as it burrows, it almost doesn't seem to disturb the like the earth around it as it bursts through, but like parts of the minecart track does kind of rip and tear at its presence. But yes, we will take this minute, take a bio break. We'll be back in like 5 minutes. I'm gonna leave the sound on. The DM has returned.
Also back.
Welcome back.
Rolling nat 20 on motherfucking.
Love to see it.
initiative.
Yeah.
How do we feel about who's in what cart?
I mean, I was imagining like Aquila kind of up at the front of the cart, like head in the wind, dog style. So I would just probably take a front spot.
I think I probably would have taken a back one.
You know, if we're being big brain about this, probably good to have either split us up, Jasper, since the other two can do a little bit of heals
Yeah.
if needed.
I mean, I wouldn't have been stoked about being in the same one as Freddy, so.
So it's Jove and Freddy, and then Rornak and Jasper.
I think so.
Well,
As long as everybody's good with that.
fine with me.
Down.
Okie dokie. So, at the start of the round, we are in a cart chase, guys. You are currently being pursued by a large monstrosity. I'll have everybody go ahead and roll me either nature or arcana as you view this beast.
19.
19.
2.
That's
Is
a
it
3 in nature.
nature?
Jasper
Or
and I are like,
Arcana.
holy shit, rocks!
Nature's better. 13.
How many?
13.
13. I will say, Jove, you're the only person that recognizes what this creature is. The rest of you see this behemoth of a creature just come out of the earth and is now literally bounding and swimming its way through the stone and in the tracks trying to catch up with you. Um, Jove, you recognize this creature as what is commonly referred to as the land shark, known as a bullet.
Ooh.
Oh,
Gross.
yikes.
You guys are on 2 mine carts. Each mine cart has 50 health points. When the 50 hit points is reached, the cart will derail wherever we happen to be when that happens. At the start of each round, there will be an effect, which is how I had you guys roll those d6s earlier. So, the first effect for the cart is a 2. Interesting. Downgrade. The cart briefly accelerates away from the bullets, preventing melee attacks this round. You guys see this creature, and as soon as it appears, you guys take a sharp downward turn as your carts hurtle faster. And you begin to make some distance on this creature. As it moves back, the bullet loses some of its chase. It is an extra 20 feet behind, so it's 60 feet away. We start at the top of initiative with Jove.
60 feet away, he will. He's gonna go ahead and I guess just hold an action to throw a javelin when it is within range, so within 30 feet.
Gotcha.
And real quick, I forget, it's been a while since I've had extra attack. It went on a held action, do I get both of the attacks, or is it just that one attack?
You get the 1 attack.
Gotcha. And then Akila's taking the dodge action in the cart.
And Akila's taking the dodge action. You got it. It is the bullet's turn afterwards. And it is going to use its movement speed to catch up to the cart. It has to use an action to get there. So Jove, you see this large creature, the front of its giant maw scraping against the back of the carts where Jasper and Rornak are. Go ahead and release your attack.
Alright. Ooh, nice. That is going to be for a 24.
24 will hit.
Akila will go ahead and add that d6 of lightning. She does. With her reaction. I'll use my piercer to reroll. Such a fun feat. There we go. Nice. Okay, so we're looking at 5 lightning and 9 piercing.
14 altogether. Yeah, as one of your javelins pierces into the front of this creature's, what would be its upper lip, if it had lips, so to speak. Charged with Akila's energy, it twitches for a moment, but only kind of the front part of how massive this creature is. The back legs of it continue to push it along, keeping pace with you. All right, that is the bullet's turn and Jove's held action. So we switch ourselves down to Fredward.
Okay. I'm just reading the spell description before I use it. Because I always have to wonder if things have to speak my language. So I have to read all these spells every time. So I'm going to cast Dissonant Whispers on it.
All right, that's a wisdom saving throw.
It is.
Natural 19.
That passes. So it takes half this much. Yeah, half as much. Okay. 4 damage.
4
psychic.
damage. 4 psychic damage. As you release this dissonant chord, it causes a slight twitch through the body of this creature, but it continues to bear down on you.
That's all I'm gonna do.
All right, then it is Rornak.
Alrighty. Well, with it right up here now, Rornak will draw his spear and go for a couple attacks.
Go for it.
That is a 14.
A 14 does not hit.
Yes.
You strike against the maw of this creature, and it just like spear on stone.
Oof. And then the next one is a 22.
A 22, however, your second time finds purchase.
Beautiful. And I will just go ahead and roll for the bonus action unarmed attack as well. And that is a 23.
A 23 will also hit.
Beautiful. I will roll my damage. 2d6. Ooh, juicy. So looking at that's 20 damage altogether. Specifically, yeah, that's 11 piercing, 9 bludgeoning for what matters on that. As he goes and tries to stab and makes purchase with the second one, and then almost kind of like spin as he's pulling back the spear, kind of like spins it up and like hits it on the underside, with like kind of like the handle of the spear as he's kind of like pulling it back.
Gotcha. Yeah, as you pull back from this creature, you can see a bit of blood beginning to fall on from its body onto a bit of your carts, except its drops of blood are like the equivalent of like a gallon. We're just... All right, Jasper.
Jasper's gonna pull out her shield and axe. And she's gonna she's gotten kind of used to trying this like breathing technique whenever she's in battle, and I think this time after doing it from like last time being in a storm, she like finds the breathing a lot easier and everything just kind of sharpens in clarity, and she uses fighting spirit for the first time to get advantage on this weapon attack.
All right, go for it. If you hit, it will be a sneak attack.
Beautiful.
Even though Rory is right next to you, since you are hurtling on a cart in near darkness against this large creature, it normally wouldn't have been a sneak attack, but with your fighting spirit, it will be if you hit.
It is a 21 to hit.
A 21 will indeed hit. Go ahead and roll that sneak attack damage.
Beautiful.
That fell. That is going to be 12 magical slashing.
12 magical slashing, you got it. As in one round, you guys have dealt 50 damage to it.
Whew.
Yeah. Yeah, you strike across this, and this with the axe and the spear strikes, the javelin piercing, it lets out this deep as it has clearly been placed in a certain amount of pain from your guys' strikes. We go back to the top of the round as the next cart chase action happens. That... Interesting. Okay. That's going to be the one. This is a sharp turn. Can I have everybody make a dexterity saving throw?
While we're doing that, can I just say you made the sound that bullets make? Like, I've never heard one before, but that's the sound they make.
Excellent. Thank you.
It's 26.
26, that saves.
Only an 11 for me.
That will also save.
Whew.
Oh.
Jove got 12 and Aquila got 21.
Save. Freddy.
What save is this?
Dexterity.
14.
14. Yeah, you're all able to, as you make a sharp right turn and snake back along the tracks. It throws your entire weight against the side of the carts, but you're all able to hold on and brace yourselves to avoid falling prone and missing your turn. Jove, it is your move.
Is the bullet like? Well, first off, we don't have any like actions that we can do. I popped up really quick to go to the bathroom. So did we? We were just like attacking. We don't have any like actions besides like the normal actions, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could use your action to pull the handbrake on the carts if you wanted to.
No, don't want to do that.
So yes, you do have cart actions. They would be pulling the handbrake or leaping from the cart.
Ooh, do that.
You have passed as you are hurtling through in what little places that still have lights. You can see that there are a fair number of track carts here. This is a large mining operation, so there are other carts to jump to if you so choose to. With your passive of 17, I'll give it to you.
That's good to know. And second question, since it's like right on our ass, do I need to be? Am I gonna do disadvantage for throwing a javelin, or should I switch to spear?
You definitely wouldn't be able to hit it with your spear since you're in the front cart. You would have to get it with the javelin. It won't be a disadvantage because this thing is fucking huge.
Gotcha. Cool.
It
Okay.
like takes up like behind you guys, like no light comes afterwards. It's either light in front of you, and as it passes, you can like hear the bullet's body breaking, like the lanterns, like as its huge body tunnels past them.
Yeah, he's gonna let loose 2 javelins in quick succession. First one being a nice 25.
Not
Just go ahead and
25,
roll.
not actual nice. Then why'd you say nice first?
Did I what? Well, I don't know.
I
I
could
don't
have
even
sworn
know
you
what
were
to
gonna roll 69 there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought you rolled nice.
That's a 69 to hit.
How's that feel?
Nice.
Ooh,
DM, does that hit?
does that hit? 25, does that hit? The second one's only a 9, so that definitely.
Yes, the second one does not hit.
But Aquila is going to spit a little of her electric spittle at and catch this first javelin that's going towards her. I'm going to go ahead and re-roll my piercing damage. There we go. So that is going to be for 5 lightning and 10 piercing.
10. Yeah. It's 15 points of damage. Gotcha. All right. Aquila's move.
Aquila is going to continue to take the dodge action.
Excellent. The bullet is going to use its deadly leap. And it's going to use its action to land on top of your guys' cart. Can I have everybody make me a strength or dexterity saving throw?
Really bad time to roll low, Fred.
A normal 20.
It's a 14 for strength.
I got 18 strength, and then Aquila got 6 dex.
Oh, even with advantage?
Even with advantage. So 2 and a 3.
10.
Everyone who rolled below a 16, you fail. You are knocked prone. However, because you are riding the carts, half of the damage you take is split with the cart. So, everyone who failed, you take 14 points of bludgeoning and 14 points of slashing damage, halved to just 14.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
I believe that Jove, I think you're the only one that succeeded.
Yes.
So, Jove, you would take 7 points.
Oh, I believe I thought
yeah.
I succeeded.
We're
Yeah.
safe.
What'd you roll?
I rolled a 20 on dex.
Oh, okay. That was my mistake. Yes. So you guys would have half of a half, so a quarter. So you take 7 points each. The rest of the party takes 14. Your carts, however, take 7, 14, 28, 42. So a combined total of 14 plus 14 plus 14, 14, 28, 42, plus the extra 40. Split between you guys is with an extra 14 until hours, 50, 42, 20, 32, 42, 55. Split between the two carts. Each cart takes 27 points of damage, because I round up, because I'm the DM. Your carts are at less than half health. As you feel the wood splinter and bend, the wheels get placed and thrown off the track for a moment. Those of you who fail are knocked prone by this. Jove, your small stature, helping you avoid being just belly flopped by this creature as it lands on top of the cart, almost knocking and breaking the carts off the rails. But with the split between everything, you're still able to keep moving. That's the bullet's turn. We switch over to Freddy. You're currently prone.
That's fine. I don't need to be standing to do anything good. I'm gonna
Stand things for nerds.
do another dissonant whispers. It's another wisdom save.
That's a natural 13. So it's only a 13.
That fails. Thank Gord. Oh, there's big boy damage. 13 psychic damage, and it has to use its full movement speed to move away from us.
It does. It moves the 40 feet back away from you. You guys now have 40 feet in between you and this bullet.
Nice.
All right. Good on you, Freddy.
I'm just gonna stay down for now.
Freddy's gonna keep a low profile as we switch over to Rornak. You are on your
Right.
feet.
I am on my feet. Now you said it's 40 feet back, but it's also big. So if I threw a dart, is that with disadvantage or no?
What's your short range?
Short range is 20.
It would be at disadvantage.
Gotcha.
Even though it's huge, this is still... You're trying to throw a dart while going full speed on a cart.
Yeah.
At your disadvantage range.
That is completely fair on that one. With that then, Rornak then he'll pull out 2 darts and kind of hold them in between his fingers, and he will hold an action to toss them if it gets within 20 feet. The bullet gets within 20 feet of them.
You totally can. You can just only hold one attack action, since you're holding your action. Even though you have extra attack, it'll only be one. But you can still hold your attack.
Gotcha. Okay, he'll just hold the one then.
Jasper.
She'll stand up. And I think she's gonna use her bonus action to second wind. Because wow, could not take a full one of those. Yes. Healed for 12.
All right, only 2 away from your max.
Yeah. And then she's gonna raise her axe and hold an action to bring it down on the bullet if it enters melee.
Absolutely. All right. We go back to the top of the round. The next chase effect goes into play. Excellent. Jove, you and Aquila and Freddy get to make this next one. Freddy, you don't need to make this roll because you're laying down. Jove and Aquila make this one with advantage. Jasper and Rornak make a regular dexterity saving throw. It's a low ceiling.
Oh boy.
Look who made the smart play for once.
Nice.
That is an 18.
Success.
Regular 20.
Success.
Regular 20 for Jove and a
Success.
15 for Aquila.
Success. Yeah, you're all able to duck your heads down. Freddy, you just see this low ceiling woo, woo, coming out of you real fast. All right, back to it with Yov.
So my javelin has a range of 30 feet. Is that still disadvantage?
That's still a disadvantage.
Gotcha. Then he will go ahead and hold javelin throw for once he, excuse me, once the thing is within 30 feet. Aquila will take the dodge action again.
All right, the bullet makes its way back to the end of the cart. It is going to prepare to bite through the back end of this cart. Everyone with the held action, so Rornek, Jasper, and Jove.
I would contest that it wouldn't be able to make it to us as it used all of its movement to move away from us, and we are still moving forward in our carts.
Okay, it's going to use its leap, because that gives it enough movement to catch you guys on that one. Go ahead and now make that attack as the leap goes through. You're absolutely right. Doesn't go for the bite, goes for the leap.
All right.
25.
19.
Success.
Nat 20.
Success. Go
Beautiful.
ahead and make the strikes. What are you rolling for?
Oh, I thought this was the save for the leap.
Oh no. These are the attacks as the leap is coming in.
Well, I rolled a 17 to save.
All right, good to know. That is a success.
Got 7 piercing and 4 lightning for a total of 11 from Jove and Aquila.
11 from Jove and Aquila.
7 piercing from Rory.
7 piercing from Rory.
So it's not a sneak attack, but I did roll max on that crit, so it's gonna be 20 magical slashing.
The bullet leaps forward. Jasper, your axe catches it in its underbelly, and you use your whole strength to both hands, dropping your shield as it lands in the carts, and you pull forward, trying to fight against the weight as Jove and Rornek's dart and spear. Jove, you almost catch the darts like in the center with your spear as it accelerates forward Tequila's lightning spittle and drives through all the way through the back of this bullet. Its body hits inches away from your cart with a heavy thud as you guys continue to careen down into the mine. And that is where we're going to end it for tonight's episode.
Ooh. I'll end it on a nat 20.
Yeah, thank you. We were about to be out of those carts.
Yeah. We're about to be a little snack.
You're welcome. That was scary.
That was fun. I like that.
Yeah. Very cool encounter. Wouldn't get that excitement on the stairs, would we?
No. We'd just be walking. Just whistling.
Well, with that, I believe it is time to say goodnight to chat.
Good night, chat.
Good night, chat.
Good night, chat.
Good night, chat. Thank you so much for joining us for part 5 of Mayhem in the Earthspur Mountains. We'll be back next week with another game. Episode 40, guys. 40 whole episodes. And we will be, for future reference, we will not be playing the December 26th. So that's 3 weeks from now. So we got some time. But on that Christmas weekend, you'll have to spend it with your families or what else you do on Christmas and entertain yourself. So thank you so much. Peace in the Middle East and much love.